to a Sweat Smart, our 4-week program for beginners. This is our second yoga session, so this is the third day of the second week. And this yoga flow is going to build on the same postures that we did last week. So we'll be starting with a warm-up. We'll move into our Sun Salutation A, onto our Sun Salutation B, and then we'll add in another series of standing postures. Make sure you have a mat and some space around you, up above you and off to the sides and to the front and back of the mat. My not so zen friend here is Fiona. She will go lay down in a minute, hopefully somewhere not on my mat. But we are going to go ahead and get started in a seated position. So come to a cross-legged seat. Close your eyes, rest your shoulders down away from your ears, and bring your palms together, thumbs at your heart center. And just take a moment here, beginning to calm the monkey mind, the constant thoughts that go through our minds in this do world of constant notifications, bells, inboxes, things to do. Much like the monkey swinging from vine to vine in the jungle, our mind swings from thing to thing all day long. And it's nice, it's important to give it an opportunity to quiet itself. Take a nice deep inhale through your nose, fill up with air. Open mouth, exhale, sigh it out, relax your shoulders. Again, deeper, fuller inhale, bringing in even more breath than you did the first time. Noticing the crown of your head rise towards the ceiling with that inhale, the tailbone lengthening towards the mat. And an open mouth exhale as you empty out, noticing the contraction of the core, the knitting in of the front ribs. And one more, deepest inhale yet, bringing in that breath until you feel like you cannot take in another sip, holding it at the top. And an open mouth exhale, let it go. Seal your lips closed, find a slight constriction in the back of your throat. Continue those filling inhales through the nose and the powerful exhales this time and for the remainder of our practice through the nose. Taking a couple more rounds of breath here to lengthen out the breath cycle, meaning matching the inhale, matching the exhale. Blink your eyes open. Nice rainbow circle, sweep the arms out, around and up. Go ahead and bring your left fingertips down to the mat, bend into your left elbow and find a side body stretch. Right fingertips reach up and over to the left. Inhale back up through center and exhale, right palm finds the mat, bend in the right elbow and reach the left fingertips up and over towards the right, relaxing both shoulders. Go ahead and come back up through center. We're going to come into a tabletop pose, coming into our cats and cows. All right, puppy dog, you're going to need to move. So stacking your shoulders over your over your wrists, hips over your knees. Inhale, cow pose, lift your gaze, melt your belly, lift your hips. And exhale, cat, tuck, round and curl, press the earth away. Inhale, cow. And exhale, cat. Channel that howling, scaredy cat. Maybe you gaze back towards your belly button. Inhale, cow. Spread the collarbones wide, shoulder blades hug together and down your back towards imaginary back pockets that you might have. And then exhale, cat. Maybe press your shins into the mat. Flow 2 more times with your breath, using the entire length of the inhale to come into your cow and the entire exhale to come into cat. So this posture warms up our spine. It's also really nice for our low back, which in this modern life oftentimes gets tight from sitting. And then come back to your neutral tabletop. Walk your palms out about a palm's distance from where they were. Corkscrew the hands into the mat like you were screwing in jar lids. Tuck your toes, draw your hips back towards your heels, and come up into a downward facing dog with your knees very bent. Lengthening the upper body, drawing your chest and your belly back towards your thighs, gazing back between your feet or up towards your belly button. And then maybe taking some pedals with your feet. Nice deep bend into one knee as the other heel comes to the earth. And then switching it out. And then finding some stillness. Knees are likely bent. This is good for our low back. Never do the heels have to touch the earth, and your knees never have to be straight. Gaze back towards your toes and slowly walk your fingertips back towards your toes, coming into a forward fold with nice bent knees. If it feels good to you, bring opposite pinky to the crook of the opposite elbow into a ragdoll pose. Lower body stays grounded. Movement is from the waist. And then on an exhale, bring the fingertips back to the mat. Tuck the tailbone under and slowly roll up to stand. Crown of the head comes up last. Inhale, breath, circle sweep the arms overhead. Maybe the palms touch. Give your quadriceps a squeeze to lift your kneecaps and press all four corners of the feet into the mat. Exhale, forward fold, hinge at your hips, fingertips to the mat, knees bent. Inhale, halfway lift, palms to the shins, gaze out like you're looking over a cliff. And then exhale, walk your fingertips out, coming into a high plank. Come down to your knees, lower to your belly, and inhale, cobra pose. Lift your chest, and then exhale from your knees or from your toes, downward facing dog. We're going to do that again 2 more times. Lengthening into that upside down V, pressing into the fingertips and the palms like you're stretching the mat forward and away from you. Lift the backs of your hips up to the spot where the wall and the ceiling meet behind you. Gaze back towards your toes, and on an inhale, slowly walk your hands back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back, snuggle those shoulder blades in towards one another, core is active. Exhale, fold, and inhale, rise to stand, circle sweep the arms. Maybe the palms touch or the fingertips lengthen towards the ceiling. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. That's the name of forward fold in Sanskrit. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back, strong legs, strong core. Forward fold, and then walk yourself out to your high plank pose. From your knees, slowly lower with control, hugging the elbows into the side body. Untuck the toes and inhale, cobra pose. And our exhale breath finds downward facing dog. So from the knees or from the toes, lift up and back into that downward facing dog. Inhale, gaze back. And exhale, walk your hands back to your forward fold. Inhale to your halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold. And inhale, rise to Tadasana, mountain pose. Circle sweep the palms overhead. Strong and active in the legs. Exhale, forward fold. Hinge at the hips, fingertips find the mat. Crown of the head lengthens down towards the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back, chest and the crown of the head lengthen forward, tailbone lengthens back. And exhale, fold, walk yourself out into that high plank. Come down to your knees, untuck your toes, and slowly lower all the way down to your belly. Inhale, cobra pose. And exhale, downward facing dog. All right, we're ready to move on to our sun salutation B. On an inhale, breath gaze forward, And this time as you exhale, step your feet behind your hands, coming into a forward fold, knees deeply bent. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold, and this time on our inhale, chair pose. So your feet can be hip-width distance apart, or your big toes can touch and a sliver between the heels. Just as it is, chair pose, sitting back into that imaginary chair. In Sanskrit, this is called Utkatasana. Make sure you can see your toes. Find a slight tuck in your tailbone, core turns on. Extend the arms shoulder height, pinkies in, thumbs out. Find a spot out in front of you that you can focus on. Where can you soften as you exhale? Maybe your shoulders drop, the back of your neck relaxes. And where can you strengthen? Maybe you squeeze your glutes. Take an inhale, soften, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the palms. Step back, high plank. Hopefully you don't have a dog behind you. Come down to your knees, untuck your toes, lower to your belly, and inhale, cobra pose. Exhale, downward facing dog. Ground your left foot, inhale, right leg extends. Exhale, step the right foot between the hands. Spin the left foot flat, and inhale, rise to warrior one. 90-degree bend in the front right knee. The back left leg is straight, and there's a line from the front heel to the back heel. The back toes are facing the front left corner of the mat. Inhale. Exhale, palms to the mat. Step back, high plank, lower to your toes. Lower all the way to your belly, and inhale, cobra pose. Exhale, downward facing dog. Ground the right foot, extend the left leg straight back. Step the left foot to the hands, spin the right heel flat, and inhale, rise to warrior one. So draw the left hip back, the right hip up and forward. Pinkies face in, thumbs face out. Inhale. Exhale, windmill the palms to frame that front foot. Step the right foot back to meet the left. Come down to your knees, untuck your toes, hug the elbows in and back. And then inhale, cobra pose, loop the shoulder blades down and back. Exhale, downward facing dog. Okay, we're gonna do that 2 more times, breath to movement. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, step your feet to the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back, press those palms into the shins. Exhale, forward fold, lift the backs of your hips. And inhale, sit down into that chair, Utkatasana, chair pose. Maybe you extend your fingertips up towards the ceiling, pinkies in, thumbs out. But if you feel like you're wearing your shoulders as earrings, bring your hands back to shoulder height. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen. Exhale, plant the palms. Step the left foot, then the right foot back. Come down to your knees, untuck your toes, lower to your belly. Inhale, cobra pose. Slide your chest forward between your shoulders. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Ground the left foot, extend the right foot back. Step the right foot between the hands. Spin the left heel back. Spin the left foot back, heel to heel alignment. And inhale, warrior one. Tug that right hip back, left hip up and forward. And exhale, windmill the palms. Step the right foot back to meet the left, high plank. Come down to your knees. Slowly surrender. And then inhale, cobra pose. You can turn your heels in towards one another if you're feeling a lot of sensation in your low back. Slowly lower on the inhale. And the exhale is downward facing dog. Ground the right foot, lift the left leg straight back. Step the left foot to the hands, spin the right heel flat. Come up, warrior one. There were little headlights on the fronts of your hips. They would both be illuminating the wall in front of you, not one out to the side and one forward. So we want to lift that right hip up and forward. Exhale, windmill the palms to frame the left foot, spin the right toes, left toes step back to meet the right, lower down, all the way to the belly, and then inhale, cobra pose. Exhale, downward facing dog. We're going to do that one more time. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, forward fold, front of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. And inhale, rise, chair pose, Utkatasana. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, plant the palms, step the right foot, then the left foot back to high plank. Maybe you stay on your toes this time as you shift forward with control. Lower all the way down to your belly. Untuck the toes and inhale, cobra pose. Exhale, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Ground the left foot, inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, step the right foot to the top of the mat. Spin the left foot flat. And inhale, rise to warrior one. Exhale, windmill the palms. Pivot onto the left toes. Right toes step back to meet them. Maybe you shift forward onto those toes and slowly lower with control. Inhale, cobra pose. Think about your chest pulling forward as your palms pull back. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, step the left foot between the hands. Spin the right foot flat. And inhale, come up to warrior one. Exhale, windmill the palms. Pivot onto the right toes, step the left toes back to meet them, and from your knees or from your toes, slowly lower to the belly. Untuck the toes, inhale, cobra, and exhale, downward facing dog. On an inhale, breath, gaze forward. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold. And inhale, circle sweep the arms all the way up to stand. This is where we're going to add on. Ground the right foot. We're going to try a balance. We're going to try tree pose. So you're going to bring the sole of your left foot either to the inner right shin or to the inner right thigh. We don't want it pressing against our knee because our knee joint isn't designed to move laterally. So either lower or higher. Tailbone draws down to the mat. The left knee draws out and down at a diagonal. And the palms come to heart center. If you have a wall nearby, there's no shame in holding onto the wall for a little bit of support. I want you to squeeze the right glute and press the right inner thigh into that left foot and the left foot into the inner thigh. If you'd like to grow your tree, you can reach those fingertips up towards the ceiling. Maybe lift the corners of your mouth into a smile. And then go ahead and bring the palms back to heart center. Release the left foot down and do a little shake out of the right leg. We're going to ground the right foot in the center of the mat, and we're going to take a big step back with the left foot coming into warrior two. So in warrior two, our hips are open towards the side of the mat. In warrior one, they were open towards the front of the mat. And this right knee is lengthening forward. There's a 90-degree bend in the right knee. And as you lengthen that right knee forward, think about hugging the femur back into the hip socket. Hip fronts are open. And there's a heel to arch alignment. So if you had a line down your mat from that right heel, it would intersect the back arch. Extend the fingertips out. Snuggle the shoulder blades in towards one another and lightly gaze over the right fingertips. Your legs might be shaking, and that's okay. Flip the front palm up towards the ceiling on an inhale. Paint those right fingertips up and back. This is peaceful warrior. Nice stretch for the right side body. And then as you exhale, keep your legs exactly where they are. Bring that right elbow to the inside of the right knee, and the left fingertips reach up towards the ceiling. You can look up towards the left fingertips or out towards the right. Find a little comfort here using your breath. Inhale back up to warrior two, and on an exhale, pivot your chest over the right thigh. Bring the fingertips to the mat, come up onto the left toes, and step the right foot back to meet the left. Now you can flow through a vinyasa, which means from your knees or your toes, you can lower all the way down to the mat and come up into cobra pose, or you can take the direct route straight back to downward facing dog. All right, guys, we have one more side to do, and then we're gonna do some nice stretches. Not that these aren't nice stretches. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, step the feet to the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold, and inhale, circle sweep the arms, tall mountain. All right, we're gonna come into that tree pose. The trunk of the tree is our left leg this time. Imagine growing those roots through the left foot. Bring the hands to heart center, and then the right sole of the foot is going to come either to the inner shin, or you're going to use your right hand to bring it up to the right inner thigh. Think about the tailbone drawing down to the fronts of the hips. Press forward a little bit. I lost my balance. Something humans do. And then find your focus point, your dristi, which is something unmoving out in front of you that you can almost look through. You're not just focusing on it, you're almost looking through it. Keep that left leg really active, and if you'd like to grow your tree, go ahead and grow your tree. Reaching those branches up towards the ceiling, and being content with the knowledge that trees sometimes blow in the wind and sometimes they topple over. But being human, you have the ability to get right back up. Trees don't have that same advantage. And when you're ready, thumbs to heart center, right foot to the earth, and then shake out the left leg. All right, we're gonna ground the left foot in the center of the mat, and we're gonna take a big step or many small steps back, coming into warrior two. 90-degree bend in the left leg. The back leg is straight and the back toe is slightly turned in. Imagine that you're pulling the mat together with your feet, and notice how your inner thighs turn on. Sit a little bit lower. And then make sure that your shoulders are over your hips. We're not leaning into the future, we're not looking into the past, we're right here in the present. Extend the arms, and as you snuggle your shoulder blades in towards one another, relax them away from your ears, and then imagine that someone is extending your fingertips in opposite directions. Find a soft gaze over the left fingertips. On an inhale, flip the left palm up. Peaceful warrior, or reverse warrior as it's called. The right fingertips can gently walk down the right leg, but we're not dumping down on the right leg. And then use your core, exhale, extended side angle. Left elbow to the inside of the left knee. Right fingertips reaching up towards the ceiling. And the shoulder draws down and back away from the ears. Inhale, come back up to warrior two. Exhale, turn your chest, pivot over the left leg, plant the palms, step back to plank, and either straight to downward facing dog or your vinyasa. Inhale to cobra and exhale, downward facing dog. All right, go ahead and walk yourself through to a seat. Take a sip of water if you need. Give yourself a little hug. We're going to end with some floor postures. So, with your feet on the mat, extend your fingertips forward, chest broad and open, and slowly lower all the way down onto your back. I'm hoping that I don't collide with the dog, which I'm going to. And then cross your right ankle over your left knee, creating a figure four pigeon pose on your back. You can stay here, or you can lift the left knee in towards the chest and thread the needle, interlacing your fingers behind your left thigh. Make sure that the back of your neck is soft and relaxed, and that the backs of your shoulders are relaxed. You can even snuggle them in towards one another. And then as you pull gently the left knee in towards your chest, guide your right knee open towards the front right corner of the mat. And then carefully unbind, bring the feet back to the mat. You can kind of windshield wiper the knees from side to side if that feels good. Keep the sole of the right foot grounded as you cross the left ankle in front of the right knee. You can stay here. This is deep enough of a stretch. Or begin to peel the right foot away from the mat. Interlace the fingers behind the right hamstring this time, behind the right leg. And as you hug the right knee in, guide the left knee out and feel the stretch. And when you feel even, unbind the hands, bring the soles of the feet back to the mat. With an exhale breath, hug your knees into your chest. Bring the soles of your feet together. Low back stays pressed into the mat. And then reaching for the outer pinky edge of your feet, you're going to open up into a dead bug or rock side to side in happy baby here. And then hug your knees into your chest. Create a cactus or goalpost with the arms. And on an exhale breath, the knees are going to gently come over to the left. Your gaze is going to come to the right. So creating length and a little bit of a twist here. Lengthen the right side body. Gentle twist for the low back. Exhale, bring the knees back through center. Take an inhale. And then exhale, knees to the right, gaze towards the left. And then hug your knees back into your chest. Wrap yourself into a tight, tiny little ball. Take the deepest inhale you've taken today and the loudest, longest open mouth exhale as you come into Shavasana, which is corpse pose. So heels towards the wider edges of the mat. Give a little press into the back of your head. Snuggle your shoulders in towards one another. Palms facing up. And we're going to come back to a natural rhythm of breath. Allow yourself to be heavy. Allow yourself to take up space.